Hi and welcome to one of my favourite parts of the garden, especially this time of year under our jacaranda. This setting, and it's just speaks a beautiful gathering to me, and I cannot wait to share with you my tips and my ideas on styling a table really simply using your beautiful garland that we created in part 1 of this session. You'll have to excuse again the cicadas. They're in full force as they would be just before Christmas. It's I guess it's what we get used to here in Australia, is this chorus of cicadas everywhere. For us to continue through this design, I really recommend that you watch part 1, because what I've done with this garland is placed it on the table, and I'm going to talk you through some little tips now how to add additional flowers, add softer flowers, and also extend your table if need be, or extend your design on your table if need be. So you can see the garland is just laying gently on the fabric. I'll talk you through the actual styling in a minute, but let's just get on to the flowers first. And if by chance your garland is a little short, or you'd like some extension, then you can always add some foliages in underneath. So just in under the ends will give you a lovely extension, and they're just, just nestled there, and they'll sit there perfectly fine. As I mentioned when we created this design, I've been really particular about the types of materials that I've used to make sure that they know that they last out of water for around 24 hours or so, which is well and truly enough for, a special event. Most of these elements will actually dry beautifully as well. So it's a design that even though you've created it now, you can then hang it on a wall, lay it on a mantle, put it on your table outside, for the rest of the year essentially, and reuse it again and again. But I think for this particular design today, I would really love to bring in some fresh elements. So if you do have some softer flowers like roses, or what I'm using today is my beautiful magnolia flowers from a magnolia hedge that I grow. These to me are just the most luxurious flower. If you do have magnolias in your garden, you'll know that they actually only really last 3 days in a vase, but wow, what an impact they are when they're in your home. The fragrance is just divine, and when they're picked like this marshmallowy white, they're just such a queen. They're just a goddess of the flowers to me. So I'm just going to talk you through how you can add something that is really delicate, something that absolutely needs a water source, but can still be included in, a table garland like this. So I recycle and reuse as much as I can, as you know, and one of which is my vials. My plastic vials that I get from orchids or other flowers in the market that come in a vial, I just wash them out, pop them in my storage to reuse just on special occasions like today. And to hide that plastic container, I just wrap hessian around the edge, around the outside, add a little bit of a wire to secure the hessian, and also that little wire allows me to then connect, attach this into my design. I then fill the little vial up with water, pop the lid back on. It has a little hole in there, so you can just insert your stem straight back through the hole, and then push your flower down firmly, and there it is. It's got its brand, its own little water source. Perfect way to add to this particular design. So I find it easier if I've added my flower into my vial as one element and then adding it in that way. And you simply just nestle it through some of the foliage that you've already got and tie the two little ends, and just tie them to a stem or a leaf or the whole thing if you want to, but just twisting that around until it just nestles in. And you can see that just sits beautifully, just sitting a little bit above everything else, so it's like a gorgeous bed. We'll add, I've got 4 here. You could even essentially just nestle them in. I mean, you're not going to move this table center once it's on the table. So, you know, you can essentially just nestle them into the design. They're so beautiful in here, but they really do become the focal and the hero of the arrangement. Just twisting those in there. So beautiful. So, you know, I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that you could add, you know, a really fresh, beautiful element to this, and don't have to feel like that it's all going to be out of water, or you're worried about it getting wilted in the sun. It really is, you know, going foam free is really about understanding your material and providing water sources where you can that aren't foam and that are just clean water. Obviously, these magnolias wouldn't last half an hour in foam, but they will look beautiful the whole way through a beautiful dinner party like we're having today. Okay, so let's talk about the styling. My favorite, well, can it really be my favorite part? Because I love doing the flowers so much as well. My second favorite part is styling the table. No, I don't have dinner parties like this every night, but my Christmas table, I just love styling. And I'll just talk you through what we've done here today, and then tell you a little bit about why it means so much to me. But so for this design, or this styling that we've done today, it was really important to me that we, you know, showcase the environment that we're in. You know, the hero is this jacaranda. So I wanted to keep the table quite subdued, very classy, very monochromatic in its color palette, so that it was really calming on the eye, and it wasn't fighting too much with this beautiful purple jacaranda. Table bare, and let's talk about layering from the table up. So bare table, I really love those neutral, you know, earthy tones of the wood, tying in with the trunk of the tree. I think if it had a full tablecloth, it would look a little too much in comparison to the flowers, and you would lose that contrast. So I love the bare table. I love that feel of that being out in the garden, and kind of still having that really textural, earthy feel. Then the table runner, and this honestly is leftover curtaining fabric. It's nothing fancy at all. I've just got 2 layers of curtaining fabric, so really inexpensive way to create a lush, luxurious table runner. This all, you know, sort of organza, you know, very light, transparent feel, blows in the wind, has lovely movement, and allows you to really, you know, gather it in all the areas that as you're coming in from the table. Layering our garland, of course, straight over the top. Extending that if you need to. As I said, you can extend it down the other side. So let me extend this side as well, just so that you can see just that little bit extra. So you can see that's just giving it just a little bit more lush down the side. Coming in now to our other elements with these gorgeous candlestick holders. I got these from a collectible shop. They're 18th century French, which I love. And there was only 2 of them, but perfect for this table. I love how we can bring up the height and bring up the eye, up reaching into the tree just with 2 simple candles. And then that transition of tall candles down to smaller candles, so that, you know, you're able to transition this table from the afternoon into the evening with beautiful candlelight. Again, just a really simple smoked glass, keeping that really kind of smoky grey feel to the colour palette. Tableware. This is actually my mother's table setting from the 70s, and as retro as it is, I think it's perfectly back in fashion right now. I love it. It has a real sentimental feeling to me, and it's a setting we bring out at Christmas and birthdays, and perfect for today, perfect color palette. So again, layering all the different plates, we're looking for a really luxurious feel that when you sit down at a table like that, you know that there's a lot of food coming with so many plates and so many different sizes of cutlery. I think that's exciting. So layering those really simple napkins, but quality napkins, I think, is really important. Again, just those layering of fabrics is really beautiful. Glassware, again, a favorite op shop find. These beautiful little mini martinis with the smoked glass stem. Only had 4 of them in the shop many years ago, probably 15 years ago I bought those, and just super sweet. Just love how they tie in really well together. Little baubles, you can always add some little baubles to your table, that little sparkle and that real sense of Christmas and festivity. Hang them out of the tree if you need to, or if you'd like to. And the other thing that I think is really nice to transition your table from evening or from afternoon into evening is some fairy lights. So you can just nestle that battery pack under there and just gently sort of lay the lights in amongst the design, and then obviously turning them on in the evening, and you've got that gorgeous bit of fairy light twinkle that's just so iconically Christmas as well. Keeping the chairs bare, I love that transparency of the chairs, and again the same sort of colour palette that's moving all the way through. In this particular space, you've got this gorgeous branch that would also allow you to do something from a floral cloud, or hanging baubles or hanging lights from the tree, which would also be really beautiful. But I think in this instance today, we're bringing the eye back down to the table and into the design. And that's what I think is really important about a table centre for a gathering table or a really festive table, is that you're creating something that's really interesting. It doesn't encroach any view on your guests. You're able to talk freely across the table. If you were to put tall vases in here, the first thing that people do is pick it up and move them. And that's it. Your design no longer is a table centerpiece. But in this instance, you've got interest, you've got the apples and the kangaroo paw and the lights and the beautiful magnolia, and all of these interesting elements that kind of draw your eye in to see new things, every time you take a glance. So the way, I guess, in regards to how you would serve your food with a table like this is, I'm all for share plates, and we do that most nights of the week. But for my Christmas tables or birthday tables, something that's for celebratory, occasion, I like to set up a buffet table or another serving table just out in the garden or beside, where you would take your plate up, serve your food, come and sit back down, so that the table stays dressed the whole way through your meal. I think that's what I like to do anyway. Well, this looks so delicious. I need to invite 3 guests over and join me here. But please, this for me is something that not only do I really enjoy doing, but I really feel sets the tone of your whole event. This welcomes people in. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel like, I'm so excited that you're here and sharing it with me. And that's the feeling that I always want to be able to give my guests when they arrive for a special occasion. Really something that feels luxurious, but essentially hasn't taken a whole lot of time. It's definitely hasn't been a big budget, but it's created that sense of luxuriancy and sense of ceremony, which I think is really important. And that's what I love about a Christmas table. So I just wanted to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you have the most beautiful gathering with friends and family. If you've got any questions at all, comments, please pop them in the box. You know I love talking to you in there. And oh, wait, just let me tell you about these beautiful glass tubes. These, you know, talk about recycle. I had these in my retail shop probably 20 years ago, and any excuse to get them out of the box and hang them in the garden with Julia roses and David Austin roses and hops is just makes me happy. So I thought I would just hang these. It's a beautiful backdrop. They tend to create, I guess, a bit of a cuddle. You know, they're creating a sense of dimension to the whole space, which I really love. And it's kind of like you're walking into something special with these three hanging in the garden. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, part 1 and part 2. Don't forget to watch part 1 of how I created this beautiful garland, because it is really one of my favorite designs to make for Christmas. And see you all soon. Have a beautiful Christmas.